to answer the question about purgatory. So what is the scriptural support for purgatory? How do we use it's the principle of the thing strategy to explain purgatory from the Bible? Well, first we start with 2 Samuel 12, verse 13 through 18. 2 Samuel 12, 13 through 18. David said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said to David, the Lord has put away your sin. You shall not die. Nevertheless, because by this deed you have utterly scorned the Lord, the child that is born to you shall die. And the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bore to David, and it became sick. On the seventh day, the child died. So Catholic scriptural principle number 1 in relation to purgatory, there is the possibility of punishment for sin even after one has received forgiveness. David was forgiven. His sin was put away by the Lord, the Bible tells us. Yet there was punishment due to that sin even after it had been forgiven. Now, we turn to the New Testament. Revelation 21, verse 27. But nothing unclean shall enter it. Scripture here is talking about the New Jerusalem, or heaven. So, Catholic scriptural principle number 2 in relation to purgatory, nothing unclean, or in essence, nothing with the stain of sin, will enter heaven. Next, we go to Hebrews 12, verse 22 and 23, which say, But you have come to Mount Zion, and to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to a judge who is God over all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect. The spirits of just men, or you could say the spirits of the just, made perfect. So, Catholic scriptural principle number 3 in relation to purgatory, there is a way or a process through which the spirits of the just are made perfect. And pay close attention to this. It's talking about the spirits of the just being made perfect. It doesn't just say the just are made perfect. It said their spirits are made perfect. One more scripture verse. 1 Corinthians 3, verses 13 through 15. Each man's work will become manifest, for the day, and here it's talking about a person's judgment day, for the day will disclose it, because it will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test what sort of work each one has done. If the work which any man has built on the foundation, Jesus Christ, survives, he will receive a reward. If any man's work is burned up, he will suffer loss, though he himself will be saved, but only as through fire. Did you catch that? As through fire. So where is this place that a man, after he dies, suffers loss as through fire, but is still saved? Hell? No. You suffer loss as through fire in hell, but once you're in hell, you don't get out. You can't be saved. So is it heaven? No, because you don't suffer loss in heaven. Must be somewhere else. Catholic scriptural principle number 4 in relation to purgatory. There is a place or a state of being other than heaven or hell. Okay. Let's put together all of these Catholic principles we just established from Scripture. Number 1, there is a punishment due to sin even after receiving forgiveness. Number 2, nothing unclean, nothing with the stain of sin will enter heaven. Number 3, there is a way or a process through which the spirits of the just are made perfect. And number 4, there is a place or a state of being other than heaven or hell where a person can suffer loss after they die as through fire, yet still be saved. All principles backed up by Scripture, which when put together make a very, very good case for purgatory. So even though purgatory is nowhere mentioned directly in the Bible, you can make a very, very good case for purgatory straight from the Bible. All right. We'll get back to this in just a few minutes, but first we need to take this break. So stay. In Revelation 21:27, we see that nothing unclean or nothing with the stain of sin will get into heaven. In Hebrews 12:22 and 23, we see that there is apparently a process by which the spirits of the just are made perfect. And from 1 Corinthians 3, verses 13 to 15, we can see there must be some place a person can go to after they die that isn't heaven or hell, where they suffer loss as through fire, yet they're still saved. So put all of those Catholic scriptural principles together, the possibility of punishment due to sin even after the sin has been forgiven, the fact that nothing with the stain of sin enters heaven, that there's some process by which the souls of the just can be made perfect, and that there is a place, or some would say a state of being, other than heaven or hell. Call it what you want. We call it purgatory. And let me add here a common sense explanation of purgatory that I've used many times, and which I've never had anyone yet respond to in a negative way. Okay, the question again, where is purgatory in the Bible? The common sense Catholic response? Good question. But before I answer that question, and I will answer it, let me ask you something. Are you perfect? I mean, are you perfect in every way? Do you never say a bad thing about anyone, or never have a bad thought, or do you don't do anything you shouldn't do? Are you perfect? Ask them that question. I've asked it many times, and I have yet to have anyone say that they were absolutely perfect. So when they respond to your question and they say, no, I'm not perfect, follow up with this question. But in heaven, you will be perfect, right? 100% of the time when I've asked that question, people have responded, yes, I will be perfect in heaven. Then I proceed to explain to them what it is they basically just agreed to. I tell them, so if you are imperfect now, yet you will be perfect in heaven, that if you were to die right now, I mean, God forbid, but if you were to die right now, something would have to happen to make you go from being imperfect to being perfect, right? There would have to be some process you go through by which God would purge you of all your imperfections so that you could enter heaven perfect, right? I mean, that's just a logical deduction. If you're imperfect now, but you'll be perfect then, somehow you have to have your imperfections removed or purged from you. After I explain all of that to them, I tell them, you call that process whatever you want. We call it purgatory. Again, no one has ever given me a contrary response to that common sense explanation. You add that to the biblical explanation, you've got a powerful case for purgatory. Now, let me give you another example of it's the principle of the thing strategy.